Okay, hello everybody. Oh, I said 45. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. Make sure everything was working fine. Okay. Okay, hello everybody. Yeah. Oh, I said 45. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. And here I am live. You should be able to watch this in better quality than usually, right? Okay, 60 FPS. I finally, after all these months, have a decently working internet connection. More than decent, to be honest. So yeah, struggle is for the past now. I'm not gonna be losing my mind on high volatility thing. 300 milliseconds of latency or whatever. 1 gig up, 2 gig down, stable connection, so that's great. Okay, let's start this. Who is here? Modi Peluri, Mike P, Jack Smith. Good evening, you all. Queen is here as well. So I did record it, started to record a weekly update earlier this morning. It was 70% done, but the fiber technician came a bit early, and so stop the recording and yeah, just figure out how I'm going to do it live, right, to celebrate the new internet connection. So first of all, last week we've been talking about confluence of resistance here. Well, not only last week, but you know, it's previous trend support. It is also the other breaker, which confirm the bear market. Well, you can consider you have 6 months of bear market here, but until then we only had an SFP of the previous major swing low, so that's when we did confirm more weakness here, right? And we had value low of the 2021 year in confluence with 2022 value area high, and yeah, so that was an extra confluence to see this is a nice resistance, right? Obviously adding the fact that I had a finish in motive count here that was down, right? So now, what was the idea behind this rejection? From that value areas perspective, well, first of all, is retest of current value area high of this 2023 year, which come in confluence with previous year VWAP close here, and which come in confluence as well with a fair value gap that we have on spot market here, right? An interesting one, in fact, because it's not only a fair value gap on one squeeze, but we went 3 times on that area, because 1 time up, 1 time down, and another time up here. So it's really an interesting area, I think, to watch. Obviously, if we zoom in a bit more, we'll have a bit lower area of interest. But yeah, after we have current yearly VWAP and POC, which is around 23,100. This is item frame level, so you know, one zooming in will have a bit different level with general ID. And obviously we have a front run POC here. I mean, POC that was front run on the SVB crash with the Elliott Wave count that I have right now. I'd rather not sweep that low, but obviously, should we have a reaction here, that will remain a good buy. The thing is, maybe it will be just for a bounce, for continuation, and if we target the lower value area, naked POC here, kind of the same. As soon as we bridge a low, for me, you know, it doesn't look great. There will still be options, but that would be a great sign of weakness, and I'd probably be looking overall for lower low, should that happen. Which we are really far away yet, because we have quite a significant rejection, of course, about 10% down, 11% down from last week open. But we also are still 80 or 75% up from our current low, right? So still very bullish market, in my opinion. Yeah, obviously, if we zoom, not zoom in, but just look at the weekly chart, while we have a bearish weekly engulfing candle, slightly more volume. So here I shift to the aggregated spot chart, about equal, based just on the candlestick pattern. It is a bearish engulfing, so pretty bearish setup, right? We did in fact also close below the weekly, or the blocks here, weekly levels that we had during our consolidation. So in theory, not a great sign for mid-term, right? Suggesting this as a very good top. On oscillators, well, we have was overbought with bearish divergence on stochastic. So ideally, we want to see stochastic come back to sold condition. We did reach barely overbought on MFI and RSI, but we did. I mean, we tested at least overbought MFI, knowing that preferably it would be preferable to stay above zero range on. For me, it is, as long as we remain above the 44 RSI on a weekly, we are in bull control territory. So a retest of this area is fine. You can see we have sometime very slightly deep below, especially on the last few years. Prior to it was a really good split between the two. It remained a good split between bull or bear control territory. But yeah, maybe, I mean, the ideal setup is stochastic resetted and MFI, RSI that remain in bull control territory over there. And ideally, obviously, on one of a support level, which are on a weekly, well, we have previous weekly level that was resistance here, or weekly level of summer that was resistance 3 times here before being claimed. A bit lower would be anchor BWAP, and we have a few moving averages. So I'm holding more the anchor BWAP here on aggregated spots because it's different than Bitstamp. But I will use the moving average more on the other chart, Bitstamp, because it is a bit broken on the aggregated chart, unfortunately. But yeah, if I shift on the beat stem chart here. We will have a different level for the anchor BWAP from the low here, because here it is at 21,800. So another weekly level here. And here on Bitstamp it is at 22. So a few dollars of difference. Kind of an old, yeah. Anyway. But for me, so yeah, the most important area right now is clearly this consolidation, right? This daily order block here, which is right below our 200 weekly moving average, the exponential one. Because that's our most important weekly moving average, the big trend, right? It is the first time we spend much time below that that moving average. And as I said when we lost it, I said, yeah, if we have a consolidation below that weekly moving average and reclaim it, that become a very strong setup. It is bad to lose this trend. You show weakness in the higher time frame trend. The 10 years one, reclaiming it, yeah, makes things a lot more bullish potentially, as long as it is not, instead of being a long deviation below that moving average, it is not just a short deviation above and we lose it and continue down, right? So that's why I think there will be a lot of highs on this one, especially on the higher time frame. We can expect a bit of trap around that, but you know, a lot of, I still think a lot of analysts look at this moving average, the ones that are not, especially the ones that are not essentially Bitcoiners or whatever, but we'll just look at which has a trend above or under this one, and just get interest around that. But ideally, you know, if we can have a bit of a range deviation below this, with or without a weekly close below it, obviously if we just have intra-week price action below and we reclaim it for the weekly close, well, that's great, you know. If we have a weekly close below it, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean doom all of a sudden, but it's a bit less better. Yeah. So yeah, that's really where I got most of my interest. Again, we have a bottom here already locally and start a rise. I mean, it's possible, but I have a 2 cent that is not feeling quite that bullish yet. I mean, maybe shorter term as we will zoom in, you know, we sweep the low of the range, so maybe we can have a bit more of a bounce here, but not that much in my opinion. And yeah, ideally as well, it would be a touch of the lower daily trend line support, the one that started with the salt here on the summer low, the one that was on the bull dip from the FTX low, and the third touch here on the SVP low. And so that's very, very important one, I believe. Still. So ideally, whatever happened here, judging, if we can have this kind of confluence again, adding one more confluence here, have a daily in just touching this trend line, when we have a consolidation here, I'd have a bit more confidence, right? But again, should we come in this area, I will be zooming in, looking more closely how the range look like, and trading lower time frame at the lower band of the range, along the lower band of the range, and maybe shorter band. But if I have a lot of confidence for the bull side, I might be a lot more aggressive in the bull side. That's obviously, especially if I have a count and etc. Checking quickly the comment here, but I'm gonna come back on the comment after I finish the overview. It might take again a bit. Trying to do it not too long, but yeah, at least 20 minutes. It's already 20 minutes. 10 more minutes, I think. Oh, and yeah, that's the other one I have in mind. The channel here. The question when building a Bitcoin channel is, do we use log or linear? And in my opinion, both are valid. So yeah, that channel can be extremely strong way of doing technical analysis here. But also, it's depends how you draw it, obviously. And do you just focus on the overall, row close of the candle, or already taking the very high to draw your channel nicely, precisely? But at the same time, if you do this, you don't necessarily have exactly the same channel depending on the exchange. Now, this one is not pretty good. You have your support here, and in fact you have kind of a V shape here, becoming support again. So now we are at it again, but what I'm looking at here, it's also extra confluence, this level of interest, knowing that we have the fair value gap just above, right? If I don't mistaken, it was a bit higher than the other block. Yeah. And if you take it on linear, then it would suggest it will need to dump a lot more quickly here. So I like the log better. Would prefer this correction to take a bit more time still. So that's for the classic view here. In terms of volume, there's not a lot of volume here. There is nothing screaming bearishness or even full capitulation to me. We are coming out of the weekend volume here, picking up slightly, but we had selling into support, just like I was reading, for selling into support, and we at some point saw the long capitulation, right? So that was the first tape, especially here, big selling into support, and you reach your long capitulation here with market selling. Now it's cooled down. Founding is back to, I've been back to negative several times into that range. Here it's back to positive again, but I think it was again a force long squeeze to the just 2 SFPs are low so far. I'm not extremely confident about that low yet. Might change my mind depending how things evolve. But yeah, I think we can still dive a bit more. Spot started to buy a bit more in this range, which turned funding negative a few times. Or at least in interest, but yeah, at least lower here than it was during all that dump here. So for now, we can look for a bit of upside potentially. Oh yeah, making missing one of the interesting level that I like to keep in mind, you know, is the 50% of previous weekly body in that occurrence, because we have a big body, or you can even just take the 50% of the week, to be honest. Not gonna make a big difference. We have conference with a yearly here at 28,900. Not supposed to be a precise level, just an idea. That price might retest a bit of previous week price action, you know. So we may be looking for a bit of corrective up. I'm not really sold on that. Problem that we'll have is we have a lot of overlapping here with a for selling and a long baiting, you know, with a fake SFP. That was making, you know, people long get stop and long again. So just to produce liquidity, which was not a good look. And, you know, this weird volume, you have higher, decently higher volume, not a very nice growing one, but big spike, forcing, really seeking for liquidity here. What I wanted to say is it's not evident to make a very strong case on account here. True, I can make one. I have one or two or more, in fact. So one of the idea is that we are in an impulse here. Well, most of the ideas we are in an impulse here. Question is, did we finish the wave 4 here? Did we finish even a wave 5 here? I mean, it's possible. It's also possible that a wave 4 could, you know, correct higher. And this could just be part of some kind of corrective move still. Well, there's variation in that count as well. Do you have a 1 here or 1 here? Both are kind of valid as well. At least what we can have of confidence is that we have a corrective move here that is comparable to that corrective move, or that one in terms of time, or even the impulse down here. So if this is an impulse, this is probably wave 4, but not totally sure it's finished yet, you know. Well, we can have an ABC, this has a flat, an A, B, C, for example. I am not so sure, I'm not seeing so much strength. A lot of tension of selling here. And I'm not sure we have that much shorts to squeeze. You know. There is a bit, but yeah. It's also long, pushing price up. And the late short got squeezed already. Produce bounce here in inverse. And we have long at the top again. I'm not extremely confident about that bounce. I still did manage to grab a bit of long here. I took a few long into that range, to be honest. increasing as we go down, taking profit when we go up, averaging it down. All the possibility I'm seeing, so this should be here, I think. Yeah. Oh, and even if the wave 4 is in, it doesn't mean that the fifth is in already. You know, we have multiple targets for fifth. One would be the 0.618 extension of 1+3, so it can come a lot lower, and maybe we just finished. It was for this morning. Didn't place that far. You know, maybe we just printed the first wave here and continue. And at the same time, you have a minimal target here, which is 1-1 extension. So it's valid. If you look at the first wave, especially if the stats count, you have quite a similar wave. Well, you have the same size, in fact, 1-1, but you have also about the same time. So theory that's valid. Maybe why I like this alternative count as well. Looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's not a great 3, 4, 5 on the smaller time frame, because the 3, 4, 5 are really smaller than the 1, 2. But that makes the 1 a bit more comparable to the third. Also give a lot, not a lot, but significantly lower target here. And the other one will be the same. Anyway, and interestingly, it will be a sweep of the low. Anyway, you know, I'll keep monitoring this. I don't feel quite yet low. Very low. That doesn't mean you cannot play the range as it presents itself. Now that you already sweep that significant low, I'm not so sure about buying another SFP. Maybe if the range increase like this, rather wait for a sweep of that low and see, depending where we bounce, did we make a higher high or not. I count my 5, you know. If we make a higher high, I count my 5 from the higher high. Alternatively, ABC. Yeah, I had an idea for an ABC here, but it seems dead now. And again, you know, the 5 wave, we can be looking to buy that. It's not quite yet where we'll be looking for. The most interesting levels seen in the beginning of the stream here. You know, maybe we will print it 5th here, and we're going for an ABC, and we're coming back here later on for the C. Like an ABC like this. I don't know. Yeah, really, it's not impossible. The reaction is fast, it's true. And for all we know, so the main count for me is that we finished a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that would not look like a full correction, and that with that count in mind. But you know, in theory, we still have a valid flat potential. Always keep a bit of tricky price action in mind. We already broke the correlation with 2020 fractal as one triangle, because, well, 2020 fractal made a significant high low, right? We did bounce prior to the POC and well, significantly higher. So for that occurrence, we already broke that. and we didn't print a flat. And the little thing that make me doubt we already have bottom is we still didn't eat fear. You know, that was one of my important argument for to say that we should see a bit more retrace. We should see retrace, and I would really like to see sentiment be a bit more fearful here at some point. So yeah, that's the main counts, and ABC count ID would just be that they're the same. In fact, it's just depending. Do we have 5 complete here, 5 complete here? This lower low doesn't make this invalid because we can be in a flat, running or expanding. But yeah, maybe we expand this range a bit more. You can see how we get the 1-1 extension overall, potentially in the area of interest here. Even if we, get a bit more higher bounce, a bit more tricky, like we saw here, for example. A retest of that trend line, for example. That would still be valid between 1-1 and 160-1.8, so we can dip lower. Yeah, I'm not gonna say how I know for sure on the next tape. I can tell you my 2 cents is don't have the very low yet, but maybe we'll see a bigger bounce before coming where I think we have more chances of staying low. And of course, the next step overall, then after is the 50K and beyond, right? So I think that back up what I had to say. 35 minutes, I could have done that shorter. And let me go a bit over your comments. If there's some bear, good evening to you as well. Where we are at the anchor VWAP from March 10. Yeah, probably an interesting one as well. Okay. How was it on this one? Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, interesting. Talking about VWAPs, this is really where yes. Because that's why I had one here. Why is it gone? I had a VWAP here. Sorry, I'm thinking as well about something else, but that's where we became bearish on the mid time frame. It's this breaker here, really. and you know, previous resistance. We have yearly as well. And we have this broken and curvy WAP, and that's where we have forced selling. I think it's not unmanageable that we see big bounce here before even getting still another potentially down. And you're right, we are at a sensible support for that. But we have no 4-hour 200 moving apparatus. We are under it, 12 hour. It's a lot below 8. It's not very important. Okay. Maybe this bounce can get us to 29.5. Yeah, okay, yeah, well, exactly. Wouldn't disagree. Do you think we are 5 down already? Last move looks 3-way wish. You may be talking about the lower time frame. Jenny might be your audience. Okay. Hey. Cool. Not much question, but hello to you all. It's so appreciable to have a chart that move without any issue. So I've been trying to set up a few things here on internet and Wi-Fi extenders and stuff. And when I make reload on ExoChart, it took 2 seconds and it reload. It doesn't take half an hour. Such a pleasure. So it's moving. Again, it's trying to make a... Okay, I can try to make something on the lower time frame. What I see here is probably a 5 up finishing. You know, you never know as you have circle rally. Maybe you have an ABC and you do this and this, you know. How does this move down look? Well, it can be an ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that work. You can probably also do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding diagonal. Yeah, because we have a bigger last move. So from today's top to today's low, we can have an ABC down or 5 down. So that doesn't give me much. For this part, you know, I have a count somewhere here, I think. Yeah. In ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC or whatever. An ABC as well here. Last leg is a bit short. And 5, like 3, can be A, B, C as an expanded flat, which would make an A, B for flats running or expanding. It can also be W, X, Y as an A and B, and so many things that work out here. Can't say much. Seems a bit strong. Just a squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems like 5 here. The 1 minute. Should I make a guess? But is it really sensible to... I mean, you have your short squeeze, you have long coming from the bottom, so for now they're a bit in control locally, but there are also a few hundred long at the top here. And the short capitulation got absorbed by a long take profit, so potentially some of the lows one. Short squeeze also here. And yeah, on aggregated, we already squeezed all the bottom short here. We already have less input interests. Yeah, not looking exactly the, I would call it strong, but it's just Bitcoin. Kind of hard if you don't, if you're not here to get the low. It's, what can you do here? Wait for a retrace that never come, or when it come, well, it gonna fail over. Not really interesting in trading too much inside of that. Weekly open, maybe. Yeah, there you go. See you, Jack. Or EDT. What do you mean EDT? I don't have the acronym in mind here. I'm sure what is this. Golden pocket. It's a bit aggressive. I don't know when the aggression is gonna stop. Again, if I can see more nice confluence here, but I guess we'll see what Luke gonna think about that in a bit. I should maybe not stay alive too long. I think he is alive and not so long. Public live. In 35 minutes. Right. So let's see what he think about. I kind of at resist. Think we can probably go still higher now. But at the same time, we can see what we did with volume here. Yeah, that's sad. I was kind of more confident this morning to go long. I went long in all of that. Really a lot more here. You'll see. Took my profit, scalp short. Then I was not able to trade. right here. Can say this. Can look at here and here. Yeah, let's have my my 2 cents on higher time frame. My 2 cents on lower time frame would be probably this, an ABC. Just need to check the fib makes sense. Yes. And this is ABC as part of a wave P of large degree. So minimal target reach. 1-1 extension coming above this supply here. Structure might get into a landing diagonal, you know, very choppy. It's not a nice one. Can I draw? Yeah. Something along this line, you know. We're in chop. So we'll see maybe for lower high, but obviously where is the other? Yeah. The 382 retrace for proposed wave 4 would be up here, and that could work as well. Maybe even slightly higher here, you know, you take stops above. And the value area. Oh, is it? I think I would, yeah. I think I would bet for low or high here. I just don't know how it would come here. Not feeling quite ready to add on the chart, but at the same time, that still means shorting the bottom. But can we get any retrace here? If we have 5 ups finished, well, we can maybe look for. For long below this 50% or golden pocket. Should we see a bit of trap short? That would probably make more sense. I'm just not very confident about that pump, but at the same time, it's so sneaky that I'm not very confident to short it. Oh, I cannot give so much more here. Or was it the spring? Well, yeah. A good idea. We can just look at this from a range perspective. And for me, we have a preliminary support here, selling climax coming here, secondary test, automatic reaction here, STB, that can be a spring, yeah. I mean, that have a characteristic of a spring, clearly. the reaction here. But there is a clear incentive to sell. Again, we saw selling into support here again. It reminds me more of price action here than anything else, to be honest. Selling into support, squeeze the short, and just that we already have so much drawdown and seeing, well, funding is coming back neutralized here. Negative funding coming back lower than it was here. And growing again. So not an extremely good sign. Now, as you can see, you often see the funding coming negative on the high. So if you see things pump and funding go down, well, maybe I will be rather a buyer in the retrace, right? Especially if you have short getting trapped. But if you pump and you see funding staying high and coming high again, higher, well, that's not good. Funding gonna give a lot of bias to me and open interest. So have to also see how things happen. Magic spread is green, and we have buy walls when 2000 here on Binance spot at 26,666 or about. We have a bit of lower buy walls as well, down to 26 here, but you know, Binance, if we come down, there will be buy wall and they will absorb and they would buy 25 here in Kraken, so that still have my interest. It was already a few times ago. Yeah, I'll keep it in HT here. It's 25, it's still where we have a few small. It's small, it's a few hundreds, but it's no wash trading. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be all for me today. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. I'll leave you here. Encourage you to go see live stream, of course. Most of you already prepared to, and I see you all soon. For the crew tomorrow, and for the rest, well, we'll see. At least Friday or on Twitter during the week. See you all. Bye. Take care.